I have a very positive attitude toward the Russian heritage in Alaska. The Russian culture has been a very positive influence in Alaska. My wife Anna and I are involved in the Russian Culture Center, and we do a lot of things that promote Russian culture and the Russian language. I wish that Russian culture was more important to the state today, but I think it should be more important than it is, because it's a very positive influence. I believe Alaska was chosen as the site for the meeting between President Putin and Donald Trump because it is quite a ways away from the lower 48. It's close to Russia. It's about a 4-hour flight from Magadan, which is in the Far East, to Anchorage. There's the ability to provide security because the population is not so great. And the Russian heritage. Russia has pretty strong ties to Alaska, and I think it makes perfect sense. We have visited the cemetery at Fort Richardson probably 10 times in the last 3 or 4 years, and laid flowers on the graves of the Soviet soldiers. I feel a very deep personal connection with those fallen Soviet soldiers because I was in the U.S. Air Force for 20 years and I was a pilot. And when you look at the ages of those people, their lives were cut short. Most of them were in their mid-20s. They gave up their life for their country. It's a very noble thing to do. We never should have gotten involved in that. My views on this is that the West was the aggressor, definitely, and we have no business doing that. I believe that Russia did what they had to do, like say the West was the aggressor, and President Putin did what he had to do to protect the sovereignty of the Russian Federation. I believe it could be over in a matter of days. All the United States has to do is withdraw military support, financial support, and intelligence. The European Union and NATO would be powerless to do anything, and if the United States withdraws their influence and support, it would be over in probably 10 days. So, yeah, I've been tired of it from the very beginning. We never should have done this. I think Trump asked for this meeting with President Putin. I think that's clear. And I don't think President Putin would have gone to Alaska with all the effort and expense if he didn't have some expectation that it would produce good fruit. It probably won't solve everything right away, but I think that he had very good reason to expend the effort and the expense to go to Alaska to meet with Trump. So, and President Putin is holding all the cards. Trump holds no cards. And this is the reality. And President Putin has been resolute for over a year on his conditions to terminate this conflict. He's never wavered, and he's not going to waver now. Most of the people in the United States are brainwashed. They watch the news on television, and they believe that's true. I've had experiences when I come back from Russia, and they say, is it true that the Russian economy is in shambles and that the Russian people are suffering? And I always tell them, no, they're doing okay. they're strong and they're doing okay, and you're watching too much television. I don't know what Trump has in mind for this meeting, but I can tell you this, that Vladimir Putin's either going to get what he wants, which is totally reasonable, or he'll turn around and walk away. And then they'll have to finish this Ukrainian conflict on the battlefield, which they are winning. The West has no cards. They're totally defeated. When this is all over, I guarantee you that Russia and the diplomatic corps, Sergei Lavrov and all of his people, will emerge from this as the leader in diplomacy, because they are the premier diplomats on the planet. But Russia will take a leadership position in their foreign policy in terms of morality, ethics, integrity, honesty,